My name is Deirdre. I'm on the BizOps team here at Stytch. We are an authentication and fraud prevention company. We were founded in 2020, based in the Bay Area, have raised 126 million, and our leading e-commerce logos are folks like Lush and Restoration Hardware. We also serve, fast-growing tech startups, Calendly, HubSpot, and some Fortune 500s. Stytch is an authentication, authorization, and fraud prevention company. And today I'm mostly going to be talking about fraud prevention and how it will help retailers with loss prevention and, as was mentioned, stopping the fraud really before it happens. So we have two products in our fraud prevention suite. They are a device fingerprinting product and strong Captcha. And the point of both of these products is to protect your site and help stop fraud by identifying bots. And so these bots could be doing anything from, account takeovers, putting tons of stolen credit card credentials into your site and committing payment fraud, putting a bunch of inventory in carts and doing inventory hoarding. The use cases are really endless. And at Stytch, we think, the game has really changed in the last 6 months for these bad actors, right? It's now like a 3-second exercise to spin up a ChatGPT puppeteer script, perform scripted actions against a site, and oh, by the way, you can also churn the IP address on every single request. So it's gotten a lot easier for these bad actors, and so staying one step ahead is what we're working on. So about our products, we have device fingerprinting and strong Captcha. So the core product here is really device fingerprinting, and this is designed to sort of stop the really top 1%, top 5% malicious, persistent bad actors out there. The team that built this product has 20 years of experience in the anti-cheat gaming space, experience in banking fraud, and it's really honestly much more advanced and thorough than other solutions we've seen on the market today. So how it works is we go collect signals from the user on a network, browser, and device level and combine that with a proprietary internal database of all known device browser configuration options possible, and we have a ML model on top of that, and basically we take all these signals and issue our opinion on the validity of the user and if it's a legitimate one or a bot. Our Captcha product is different than other folks because every other Captcha can be solved off device. So there are these things called Captcha farms overseas that the really malicious attackers use, and that level of security isn't going to deter them, right? They just go pay for these Captcha solutions and get through that layer. Our Captcha product has to be solved on the device it was served on, so it basically removes that as a attack vector. So now I'll go into a quick demo, which is a video that I hope works.
Looking good.
Awesome. So I'm going to show you a demo of our product now. So I just went to a local host for an app I have running locally. I'm going to type in my email and password, and we will see on the back end that the verdict that I receive is an allow verdict. So our product says let this traffic through, and it's not just sort of the lack of suspicious or bad things we've seen about this traffic. It's also that we've detected a good device, right? So I'm on an Apple computer on a Chrome browser. This is a good legitimate user. And so we process hundreds of millions of fingerprints every day, and we have a very good idea what the legitimate traffic looks like. On the other hand, I will now run this puppeteer script. It's like 30 lines long, and it's going to perform scripted actions against that site. So it's going to spin up a Chromium browser, and we're going to watch it type in an email and password, and then we're going to block that traffic. This is like a user could do this 50,000 times over, create a bunch of accounts to take advantage of sort of the first-time buyer discount. They could run a script and take all the inventory on your site and put it in carts so your real users don't have access to it. They could do this a bunch of times over with stolen credit card or gift card information. And so what we get in this case is a block verdict, right? Because there's a few small hints and tells in the way this browser was set up that led us to say, okay, this is headless browsing. This is not a real user. It's a script masquerading as a web browser, so we should not let this traffic through. I'll go into a bit. When you call our backend and get the verdict returned, you get this payload back. We give you information about the user and the network, a bunch of fingerprints you can use for uniqueness. But really the important thing is this verdict, which is an allow, block, or challenge. And so, it's up to you guys what you do with that. most people just allow good traffic through, unchallenged, offer a Captcha or a step-up, sort of verification method, and they block outright. Cool. Now I'll go into some implementation patterns. Awesome. So the last thing I have is a bit about implementation in case there's any technical folks who watch this later. It's very simple. You would mount a JavaScript snippet on your front end. On page load, call a method get telemetry ID that issues a globally unique ID, and then on the action you want to protect. So that's like maybe it's add to cart, maybe it's login, maybe it's create account. You can use it multiple times throughout your site. You call our API, and within 200 to 300 milliseconds, we return you that payload with the allow blocker challenge. And you can either take that at face value or combine it with other signals you're collecting internally and do your own risk analysis. A few other things I'll mention. We are very anti-reverse engineering oriented. The payloads are written in C++ and cross-compiled into WebAssembly, so it's basically a nightmare for attackers to reverse engineer and reason about. And there are some network effects with the system, right? If company A experiences an attack, the learnings from that will also be applied to companies B through Z. And, again, we process hundreds of millions of fingerprints every day. So I think that's all I have. I would want to leave you sort of just with the thought that we have a pretty advanced product, and if these like persistent malicious folks are a problem for you guys and bots are a problem for your site, we would love to chat more. Thank you.